Kim Jong-un is a ridiculous character, supremely evil, probably, from what we know, and also very funny looking. We know so little about him compared to other world leaders. He's a peculiar character in that respect to cartoon. Everything that comes out of North Korea is controlled, so it's just what they want us to see, and it's usually just some pictures of, him waving or sort of pointing at something. And then you have these sort of adoring masses that are either clapping or they're crying. From a satire point of view, you make fun of that. Hello, my name is Morten Morland. I am the cartoonist for The Times and Sunday Times, and here are some of my Kim Jong-un cartoons.
Tonight, Kim Jong-un could be one step closer to threatening America with a nuclear-tipped missile. The ballistic missiles his regime just test-fired landed within 200 miles of the coast of Japan.
So in March 2017, North Korea launched ballistic missiles, and this escalated things big time between America and North Korea. North Korea kept saying that they were escalating things with America and threatening, and this went back and forth. And then at some point, Trump also did mention China's role in this, and I think this is sort of in this cartoon. I was making the point that actually China has got an enormous role in that relationship they have with North Korea, that they could pull the plug on this or stop this scary go-around, as I've drawn here, if they wanted to. So the cartoon kind of just shows this power the Chinese president has over the scenario that was playing out at the time. This sort of, it's a scary go-around. This kind of goes around and around in circles, and it sort of escalates and escalates. I think another thing with using this sort of slightly unserious, toy-like thing was to make the point that it was serious, scary, but also a little bit not. There is a lot of posturing. It's not quite real. And so the cartoon makes both those points. It has this sort of childlike element with Kim Jong-un, which I often have, and then I sort of did the same with Trump, in that sort of him in his fighter jet, and Kim Jong-un is sort of riding the bomb, it's sort of crazy Dr. Strangelove kind of riding the bomb thing. So it's a simple concept in that respect, but it's just like, that's the scary go-round. And then with the controls looking a bit bored, is President Xi, he could stop it. He is sort of the grown-up in this. I don't know why I think that gives him too much credit, but I think it's because he's quiet. It's scary for us, that's why I'm showing it as a sort of scary go-around, because it's scary. You got the nuclear symbol, but then you have these slightly unserious characters flying around in their little toys, going around and around, and it's sort of like going around and around in circles. Nothing changes, it's just like, this is it. And you can imagine the ending, and they're going, walking off, and it's all fine.
New questions are being raised about contacts between President-elect Donald Trump's advisors and Russian officials. The Senate Intelligence Committee now says it will investigate possible links between Trump's campaign and Russia.
So this cartoon is from the summer of the same year, in 2017, where this story just kept escalating, with North Korea doing tests, ratcheting up the pressure on Trump, and Trump being increasingly kind of angry back.
North Korea best not make any more threats to the United States. They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
It became this kind of like increasingly escalating conflict, but at the same time, it became a quite useful thing for Trump at the time, because he was under pressure with the Russia inquiry. Kim Jong-un and North Korea became a sort of distraction. But you had some very funny exchanges. I think sort of Kim Jong-un famously called Trump a dotard, which is such a great word. Trump called him, he kept calling him Rocket Man.
We will have no choice but to totally destroy North Korea. Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
When this cartoon was done, it was very much a increasingly kind of like hostile situation, but something that Trump used quite effectively. And I showed it here with drop everything, he's gonna blow, and the people holding the Russia investigation. It was this kind of thing. You should drop all that. Don't look at all that, because he's gonna blow. But you see the one pumping is Trump himself, and he's building North Korea and this threat up to be something bigger than it probably is.
Overseas, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un having a rare meeting today with Vladimir Putin in Russia amid U.S. concerns that the North will supply arms to Russia for the war in Ukraine.
In September 2023, there was this high-profile summit in Vladivostok between Putin and Kim Jong-un. And it's always a huge event, news-wise, when Kim Jong-un leaves the country, because he rarely does. He doesn't fly. And so he travels in this crazy train, which looks from another age. And you also see these sort of strange pictures of his bodyguards running next to the car. And it's sort of visually quite fun to see him out of his normal element. I was going to do a cartoon about that, and it was the context. Obviously, for Putin's side was the Ukraine conflict. They're needing weapons. The cartoon shows these two men together because with any sort of summit like this, you get the very sort of male sort of bromance feel about it. The way they very pally and chummy with the backdrop of the war and the bloodiness and the awfulness. I had them in this sort of bath of blood, bathing, and Kim Jong-un feeding weapons to Putin and sort of saying, "More misery, my angel," and Putin coming back with, "Try stop me, you delicious rogue." Because these leaders tend to sort of overemphasize their palliness, the sort of slight homoerotic thing in the visual of the two of them together. It's also a way of ridiculing, particularly when you know Putin's view of gay people. With any sort of dictator, the best way to get under their skin is mockery. And with Putin, you've got particularly this very macho thing that he projects, judo, hockey player. He is so homophobic, and so to put him in this sort of slightly homoerotic situation here adds to the mockery. They are in the pool of blood, and then you have the wine glasses on the side. Putin is famously a teetotaler, so he wouldn't have had any wine, but in this case it's the same color as the blood in the pool, so they're probably drinking blood as well. Kim is not a teetotaler. By all accounts, he very much likes his drink. I think he will always be a poser and someone who will blow things up randomly to get people's attention. I think that is as far as it goes with them. That is my my foreign policy advice. The most defining thing about him, sort of for a caricature, is his hair. He kind of it's this strange thing that goes up and out. And shaved on the sides. You can draw that hair and you'd know straight away who it is, which is brilliant for a cartoonist.
Will Kim ever change his hairdo?
I hope not. I really hope not. If he does, I'll write in. And it will just get wilder and more out there as he's sort of thinner and get older. So no, I have great hopes for him physically as he gets older, if his dad is anything to go by.